I like this. Let me see something for a minute. Like that book, you know what I'm saying? I really didn't like that book. I just wanted to let y'all know.
You didn't like what book?
Whatever book y'all talking about. Oh, this is Heaven for Real. Oh, my bad. My fault.
Ron's book.
Oh, my God. My fault. Pray for me.
They all are.
That's my
So
time.
we're all together. We're gonna.
He only likes the kind of books like his sons do. No.
I don't know what he likes.
He don't read.
Yeah, he don't hardly read. So we'll all start over. We're gonna hold up the book. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start the recording where we're all holding up the book. All right, here we go. So we're reviewing Heaven is Real. It's a book by Todd Burpo with Lynn Vincent. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. So the book kind of tells a story about a little boy who went through something, but it just was unfortunate that while he was going through that, months before, the family was going through stuff too. And then like some time had passed and it was started to come to premonition that he actually had a very special encounter with Jesus. And that's kind of how the book explains like how that came about, and then we'll talk about that now. And this is like just from the first 80 pages. I haven't gone past the other 80 pages, which we'll do next in 2 weeks. So we were just gonna, everybody can just chime in. So did you like the first 80 pages?
I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
I like how it kind of gave us the background about how he's from a little church. They, you know, it doesn't generate a lot of money. They have jobs on the side. They do this because it's in their heart. You know, they're trying really hard and they're going through these things, like how everybody goes through stuff, like where you feel like you're never going to get out of the situation that you're in, and you're like feeling desperate, like at different times. And I like how open they were about that, because they let us know, like, before this happened, the dad was feeling so desperate. Like, what did you say? He had
the stones. He broke his tibia, then the kidney stones, and then the lump under his breast. It was just like he went through stuff, like everything all at once. This was supposed to be a trip to him back on the normal path. He had to go through how to walk again and stuff. His ankle got messed up. It was just like the devil was riding him for a minute. The whole family.
He said he felt like Job.
Wow.
He got sick of everything, and now they decided to do a family trip and go together. And
Uh-oh, everybody froze.
going.
Yes.
And he said the angels singing to him.
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, that was the first inkling that something special happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said that he wanted to lose his stuff a couple of times, but it's not customary for pastors to lose their cool and stuff. They have to remain calm. Right. So he called this going in private and raging that guy, like, why are you doing this to me?
Yes.
Yes, he was upset about it and stuff, and them church members and them prayers came about and showed him, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that.
I like the way the book lays it out, where it shows step by step how the boy revealed. He didn't just go home and say, you know, Mom, Dad, this is what happened to me while I was in the hospital. You know, he was just giving little bits.
Yeah.
And it was innocent, because he was like 3.5 years old.
And the family said they regretted not writing down the names of the other children that the son was talking about, because he later forgot their names. And they said of the whole experience, the thing they regretted is not writing down the names, because they felt like they could have gave somebody some joy from that, you know. But we all know all kids go to heaven, just like all dogs go to heaven. Come on.
But he said he getting ready to really show out at that funeral with the casket. He like, did he know Jesus? I mean, they had to get him up out the room, try to calm him down.
Yeah, they had to take him home.
Yeah, the mom had to leave with the kids.
Yes, because he was so concerned about that man having a relationship with Jesus. You know, and what 3.5-year-old, he probably was about
Yeah.
4 then, you know, have that kind of concern
Yes.
about somebody's salvation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tilt your screen a little down, Mildred, so we see your chin too. There you go, perfect. So I was like, I think the first time he revealed something was when he let them know that he saw them. When he was in the hospital, that he saw them on the phone
His
and then
mom.
in that room. I think that was the first thing, and they both were like, hold up, how does he know that? But they kept driving, didn't ever make anything a big deal, but like knew, like when they went in the gas station, both parents were like, hey, we need to like ask him more questions about this because something is going on here, but we don't want to force it out of him. We want it to come out naturally because we don't want to make it something that it's not.
Words in his mouth.
Mouth.
Well, wasn't it when he was being mean and Dad was talking to him and told him he needed to treat people right, and he said Jesus told him that?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's told, where was you at, sitting on his lap? You know, like it was.
Yeah, and then he started describing Jesus. He said, well,
Yes.
what did man look like? And he said he had all white, very illuminative white. His face was real bright, and he had this, he kept saying, this purple thing, Dad.
From his shoulder to his waist.
And they had never discussed like that with him before. And then they didn't even tell him what that was till he was like 10 years old, because they kept wanting him to just tell his story, which I thought was so cool of them.
Yes.
And then I think like just little, and then that funeral, that really let them know like something's going on here with our kid. Like he's experienced something special. Oh, everybody's frozen. I'm sorry.
You froze up.
You froze up again. You need to just talk like this when you're doing it, just in case you freeze.
You should have seen the look on your face.
My mom says I need to do better when I freeze. I need to get my face right.
Yeah, you like.
And it's always catching me off guard.
Yeah, you always saying like mid sentence. You like.
Exactly. All right, so I thought it was cool how they laid out this trial the family was going through, and then how they laid out the dad's real emotions about the trial. And I loved how they talked about the power of prayer, about how they talked about like, you know, when they saw like,
and all them people start sending the money.
yes, that prayer chain like worked.
Where they was gonna get the money to pay these bills, and all of a sudden people just start sending cash to them and stuff, because the son said, you need to pay that doctor because Jesus made him fix me. Y'all need to pay him.
And I feel like we're going to learn more about that past chapter 8, about that comment, because he said, no matter who you pay that doctor first.
That's right, because Jesus used him to heal me.
Yes.
And I think that is so good too, that they talk about that, because a lot of times people will be like, oh, I believe in Jesus, I don't believe in medicine. But God gives people special power that work in medicine to heal you. You know, it's through the gift of God that they have the knowledge and the ability to do these things for other people. You can believe in both. There's nothing wrong with that. God gives them special gifts and talents.
Yes, he does. And
yeah, I thought that was nice that they put that in the book.
Yeah, I like it too when they had him at that first hospitals, and those doctors, the doctor said that he didn't have appendicitis, and they was running all these tests and giving him all this medicine, and the boy was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And a lot of times people rely totally on the doctors, and a lot of times you got to take your health in your own hands. If something's not right, then you need to go seek somebody else to help you instead of, this is my doctor, and no, they took that baby out of the hospital and took him somewhere else.
And it was a big deal because they didn't have an ambulance. They did that all on their own. They got discharged. They had to wait for that process because they were doing it the right way. They didn't just pack up and leave. So they had to wait to be discharged. They had to go to this next place. And I thought that was like endearing too, because parents have to make these decisions sometimes, and we are we don't know what to do. but we know
Mhm.
we have to do something different.
I would have trusted the doctor, but I would have been doing some praying. You be so much sure it's gonna be what God put on your heart. Cause I sure would have been doing some praying. It's hard for you to question the doctor. You like, this mug got a whole degree in that, so he got to be knowing what's best for me. But God know what's best for you.
But I think God put him in that position to make that judgment call because he had spent time in hospitals and he knew what the look of death looked like on people. So God had given him that knowledge so that he would know. And he made him probably do all these things in life because then he would be able to handle this situation the best, because he knew what that look meant because he had seen it so many times.
Right.
That again is like God giving you information through experiences you go through in life so that you can make the best decisions. And that helped him take that leap of faith. Because I don't think otherwise he would have been able to do it, because he wouldn't understood what
He
what
wouldn't
that
have
look
known.
was about.
He wouldn't have saw the look of death on his child.
Yeah.
'Cause he wouldn't have had seen it before. And once you see it, you never forget it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he saw that look of death on his child, and he was like, no, because they had already lost one child
Yes.
before him. He was like their miracle baby, and he's like, no, God, you're not going to take him away from us too.
Yeah. And the mom was really hurt.
Here, baby, on them pictures, it's showing another little baby on there. So I'm wondering if it's gonna come down the chapter, because it showed him, the sister, and another little boy in there.
They're gonna have another
They
baby.
have another little boy after him.
I'm telling you,
I'm telling you. I only read the chapter to page 82.
all I noticed in
I
the
read the whole book in one setting, so I couldn't.
I have a hard time talking about it if I read it all, because I want to talk beyond that point. So I try to never read beyond that point. But I was like, it's so interesting how he can describe like the rainbow above people's heads, how he's describing like all these things that are like in Revelation and in the Bible. And we have these, you guys probably just need to read it. If you get the book on page 159, there are scriptures that relate to the chapters, but we would actually have to cover the book per chapter to do that. But Mildred, if there's something you want to read, go ahead. But I highly recommend that if anybody reads this book, that you would go back and read those scriptures too, because they help you understand what the boy was talking about.
Yeah, that's why I think they included the scriptures, because every time they had that conversation with him, he described something, and then it's something that's in the Bible that a 4-year-old or 3.5-year-old was not taught in Sunday school.
Because they would be like,
No.
where is he getting this from? This is not a Sunday
Right.
school teaching. And then the dad for a while kept saying, man, these Sunday school teachers, they really doing it. Like,
yeah.
they really teaching this boy
Yes.
everything.
Right. Until it dawned on them.
And then they started thinking, this is impossible. This is not, there's no way that and when he started putting it together, that's when he was like, but for a long time, he was giving all credit to the Sunday school teacher, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, he was. He was giving all the credit to the Sunday school teacher, but it wasn't the Sunday school teacher that taught him.
Yeah.
Did you remember when he told his dad that Jesus taught him?
Yes.
Jesus
Yeah,
was the
homework
teacher.
and stuff. Yeah.
He had
And
homework.
do you remember he did all these things, but when his dad asked him, how long were you in heaven? He said 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
But he did all this stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's a good thing to realize. Time down here is not like time up there, or wherever.
But he didn't have concept of time. I mean, a 3.5-year-old don't know what, if you ask him how many minutes or what time.
But I wonder what happened in that operating room. Was there some kind of failure for 3 minutes?
No, he said.
Well, he left his body.
Yeah.
He never died. Like on the report he got from the doctor, it said that he never, died or anything
No.
on the report.
I would have gone back to the hospital and talked to the doctor to make sure they did not forget to notice or didn't notice.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Anyone or so, if the machines all went crazy and then
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, I wonder if something went crazy for a little bit and they just didn't write it down, but I'm not past page 80, so I don't know.
He
No,
said,
I don't think so, because he was never alone.
Mhm.
If dad wasn't with him, mom was with him. So he was never by himself.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So nothing went wrong. he was just sick unto death. He was that close to death.
Yeah.
He left his body.
Yeah. I just think it's so comforting though. Like to read this book, it's so comforting. Oh no, I wonder what my face looks like. I'm frozen.
And some people don't or something.
Mhm.
Now that right there, he was all like, "Did I have a white light on?"
Yeah. I know.
I was all like, "Oh my!" It's like kids. That's what it's reverting to. You have to go back to your childlike self to be able to enter the kingdom. You have to be, not necessarily just innocent, but you gotta be.
So I think the interesting thing about children is they have a lot of faith in their family, in their mother, in their father. I mean, a young child thinks their parent is a superhero.
Right.
So that's why it's so easy for a young child to just automatically believe in Jesus and all those type of things. If you can get them in, that type of setting early, I think it's easy for them to believe, because in a young child's mind, believing Jesus is a superhero is super easy, because in their mind, their parents are superheroes. I don't think you stop. I think Jax and Javon still think their dad's a superhero. Do you think so, Mildred? I mean, I know for a long time they really felt like he was, but I still think they are thinking that still.
Yeah.
They don't think there's no end to his strength. So I think for a young child, like even almost up to the age of 8, probably, it's so easy.
And Colton was into superheroes.
Yes, he was super into superheroes. And when I was reading it, it made me think of Jackson so much. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
He probably know all kinds of stuff.
No, Javon does.
Yeah, he's preaching.
When he talked about the rainbows, like the holes where the cross was and stuff, the rainbow markers. That's what he said.
When he said Jesus had markers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where the end of that chapter is, when he starts to realize what he means by markers. And then he says it's his hand.
Yeah, he asked him
His hand and his feet.
Yeah, he asked him where the markers was, and he said his hands, and then he bent down and said his feet.
Yeah, I thought that. The whole book is really enduring.
Yes.
It's super sweet, but it also lets you know, like that feeling that you go through in real life when you're going through life. That's what I like about the book. They didn't take this feeling that you have when a miracle happens to you outside of the context of real life. Because real life is so hard, but then you're blessed with this miracle in your family. And the book kind of shares like how their life was hard.
Yeah.
And then I love, and I guess at the end, at around page 80 is like, just where they're like, well, we prayed about it. We're going to do what we can with these bills. And then, everything starts happening for them. Like the bills start getting paid and all that type of stuff. And I always feel like, that's where I feel like, don't ever be that kind of person that can't receive something.
Right.
Yeah.
What if they would have been the kind of people that are like, oh no, we can't receive? Like, you're blocking all these blessings when you say you can't receive. And I love it that they put that in the book, because a lot of people are like, oh no, I can't receive. I don't want to take that. Just take it. That's a blessing.
But they look at it as charity. They don't look at it as a blessing.
Yeah,
No.
so I thought that was cute that was in the book, because a lot of people fight with that inside themselves too.
Right.
Yeah.
They do.
Like that.
Mine. I saw her struggling with her suitcase, and I wanted to help her, and she was offended.
Yeah. Why? Let somebody help you. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that's pride.
You remember Uta? You remember? I don't know if you was with the wrestle group when we had that lady, that spiritual.
Okay, so I'm recording because Davida might not join us. She's got an intermission. So sorry about the interruption, but we're still on this. I think it's a great book. I like how it's real honest about life. I like how they slowly are revealed that something special happened, and that they also tell us the things that they wish they would have done different while that was being revealed to them. Like, I think, like they, at the end, they were like, man, I wish we would have wrote down every kid's name.
Right.
I think that's sweet, because that is the kind of stuff you think about, especially when you're a pastor. Like the average person may not, but if you're a pastor, you would, And then I think it's so interesting how the kid's right on point, like with everything, how things are in heaven. And then how he describes like Jesus and about the little experience. And I think it's cute how he says it was just for 3 minutes, you know, which I think might be a play on time. And then Mildred said she thinks it's how kids think, you know, it's just 3 minutes. It's just yesterday, but it was actually last year, you know.
Right.
So I do think like it's hard for kids to grasp time. So that could be it. I was thinking, and my mom was thinking too, that maybe something had happened in that operating room that they never put in the notes that lasted for 3 minutes, but we don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But sometimes something will happen in the bag for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really going on, just something like it's a burp in their bagging, you know?
Yeah. I think that
3
the
minutes in
family
heaven
would
is
have
not the same like
included
3
that
minutes on earth.
if they had to, you know, resuscitate him at any point. I think that probably would have been part of the of the story.
Yeah. And I don't know yet because I'm not past 80, but you guys know, and you said it's not. So I was still holding on to like, oh, there's going to be some scientific thing written down somewhere. It's going to be 3 minutes. That's what I was
like
thinking.
it when he was telling his dad that Jesus gave him work to do, and that was his favorite part.
Yes.
Of being in heaven, that Jesus gave him work to do,
I think that's cute.
and that everybody had wings.
Yes.
And he said,
just very, very little.
Yeah. And Dad asked him, did he have wings? And he said, yeah, but mine was real little.
I love it.
Yeah.
So all in all, I feel like people should read this book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a
so.
great book. And I think it's a great testament to faith and prayer. For what I've read up to page 8, you know, I don't know what else it's going to go into, but definitely like, if you want to know about the power of prayer or faith, up to page 80, that is really revealing a lot of that in somebody's life.
Right.
What did you guys think?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. And I think definitely read those scriptures for yourself at the end of the book on page 159, so that if you aren't totally familiar with how things are described in Revelations or Samuel or Matthew, that you can read that and realize for yourself, like, wow, this kid's like right on point. He's just saying it like a child would say it.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool that he put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
How he described that it was so white, the dress. And, you know, in the Bible, it also says somewhere in my German Bible, you know, it was so white, you cannot paint it that white. No paint that have that kind of white, you know, somehow.
Yeah. And don't they also say in heaven there's no sun because Jesus is so bright?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so, Jesus and God is the light, so they don't need sun.
So that's interesting.
But, in Mark, the 9th chapter, the 3rd verse, when Colton described Jesus, how white Jesus' outfit was, it says his clothes became dazzling white, whiter than anyone in the world could bleach them.
Yeah.
And the boy said that it was whiter, you couldn't bleach it.
Yeah.
White enough. And he made that comment. And then remember when he was describing the way things looked?
Yes.
All these lights.
Mm-hmm.
And in Revelations, the 21st chapter, in the 19th and 20th verse, it says, the foundations of the city walls were decorated with every kind of precious stones.
Yes.
So, you know, all the stones are different colors. So that's what he saw.
Yeah.
That's why he said it looked like rainbows, because it was all the different gems and stones.
And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think you guys already read the end of it, but the next week we'll read the last 2. In 2 weeks, we'll read the rest of this book. And then maybe everybody just know ahead of time, like read the scriptures. If there's a scripture that you want to talk about that you think really relates to the book, touches you, we'll just read that next week. So that's on those pages. And then after this book, we're going to go to the Hillary book, The Gutsy Women, just so everybody knows. So we're going to end the video. This book's awesome. As of right now, we're halfway through it. I give it a 5 out of 5. What do you give it?
I give it a 5.
Yeah.
And it's an easy read. Not hard to read at all. Once I started reading it, I read it like in 2 hours, and I was like getting interrupted, but I was done with it. Then I'm like, let me stop because I won't know what I'm talking about if I read anymore. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna stop the recording. Peace and love, and then of course like and subscribe and join our YouTube channel and join our book club. We really appreciate that, and then we're gonna let you guys go. And thank you so much. And then I'll